Next we'll talk about what to do when your favorite coffee mug gets chipped. What's up guys, my name is Josh, I am the Injured Outdoorsman. Today I've got the CAA MCK for my Glock 21. I saw online that they were releasing a Gen 2. Really excited about that. It can host a suppressor, can fire in the folded position, and it's got several other upgrades. But along with that Gen 2, I saw on their website that they're now making a P40 Warhawk version. To where I'm not going to get that fancy. I got a little jealous, and so I'm going to paint this up a little bit, see what we can do with our plain black one. Alright guys, first things first, we're going to tape up the important parts so that, you know, the paint doesn't inhibit, say, the charging handle from moving or stuff like that. We're also going to tape over our Picatinny rails, just because those are kind of the surface that holds zero, so we don't want that messed up with paint either. But we'll take these off, tape over the important parts, and go from there. Alright, now that we've got the CAA rails taken off, this guy, don't worry about him. He was having some trouble. The Allen key was stripping it out. I tried another one, and it looks like it was stripped out when it was put in. So I'm not going to mess with that side over here. I've got it taped up as best I can. My masking tape isn't working too good either. But here it is. Let's get to painting. Right, so first what we're going to do, shake up our paint. I'm going to put a base layer of green over it. Just because OD green is my favorite color. Alright, we're going to let this dry. I maybe ruined it. Let's hope not. So after I pass out and then recovered, the paint here is dry to the touch and ready for another coat. Let's get to it. This is a flat dark earth and got some pine needles, so gonna try and make some sort of camo pattern, if this will open. Child safety. And this is the part where you get your hands dirty. And I guess we're just going a straight pattern, because that's not showing up at all. Sometimes you just need to modify your approach. You've got one idea in mind and it doesn't work out. Kind of like life in that sense. Now that I've got that striped on, I'm gonna hit it with some other colors. Now you can't do camo without brown. Anything in the woods or the wide open is brown, whether you live in Texas, Maine, Wyoming, or Alaska. There's brown everywhere. So you gotta include this. But the trouble most people run into when they're doing a camo pattern is they don't have enough colors, enough bright colors. In nature, nothing's completely dark. And so if you've got OD green, brown, and black, that's going to stand out. So what I like to do is throw some yellows, maybe some whites in there as well. Now we've got some yellow paint and primer. You want to include some sort of bright color, but you want to be very, very sparing with it. You don't want to go paint this whole thing yellow and have a Big Bird CAA kit out there. If you're trying to make it subtle, if you're trying to make it camo. Nothing wrong with the Big Bird, but I'm a little more subtle than that. And if you get a little bit too much, you can always go back over it with another color. Now we're going back to our flat dark earth, or tan, like it used to be called. Maybe cover up a little bit of that yellow, but still have some spark to it. And we're back to brown. Let's hit some brown up there. Some brown across there, connecting it to over here. You don't have to connect it to anything, but if you're OCD, you got to. I'm either making a masterpiece or a catastrophe. Let's let this dry, come back, hit it with some more stuff. Hey guys, day 2, I'm out here with the CAA micro conversion kit. Just gonna do some finishing touches on the camo paint. Was gonna do it yesterday, but yesterday was a really hard day. Ended up passing out twice, once for 2.5 hours, and then was just in a ton of pain. Those of you who might be disabled, you know, bad days happen, and bad days can come on like that. So you just gotta roll with the punches. We're out here, day 2, gonna finish up our job. let's get to it. There is no exact science to camouflaging, and if it doesn't look that great up close, it doesn't have to. All it has to do is basically hide the outline of whatever you're doing. So if you camouflage yourself, it's to hide the outline of the human body, typically from deer. If you camouflage this, again, it's to camouflage the outline of a gun, so that it doesn't look like a gun if you're looking across stuff. So again, it doesn't have to look perfect up close, just has to disguise the outline of it. Gonna hit it with some green here, some other green here, but otherwise it's looking pretty good. I'm liking the way this is turning out. Again, hit it with a bright color, because if you look across the woods or the desert or wherever you live, you can see some bright colors. It's not all earthy flat tones. So I like to incorporate that into my camouflaging. It looks pretty good. We're gonna let this dry up here. We'll come back, throw on the rails, and see how it looks. Alright guys, we are on day 3 of this project, trying to camo paint CAA micro conversion kit. We have painted it over with a base of OD green, and then hit it with a flat dark earth with a brown. I came in there and sprinkled some yellow in there just to kind of break it up, give it a little bit of color, because nothing in nature is completely dark earth. You know, there's lichens, there's flowers, there's stuff like that come and give it some color. There's mosses, there's algae, even weeds and stuff. But anyways, we've got this all painted up to my satisfaction. I'm good with it. So we're just going to remove the tape on this one rail here. We did get some paint on it, but I don't think it's a big deal. We're going to put the top cover back on, the side cover, mount up the optic again, and put on a light. So let's get to it. If I can keep it on the table. And that just aligns like so. And I think it a very good idea to keep all your hardware kind of together in a jar for one project, especially if that project's going to last several days. That way, if your project's going to last several days, you know where everything is. And again, try not to get discouraged if something takes a lot longer than it used to. I still get frustrated at times. You know, like this is on the 3rd day of just trying to camo paint this thing. Try not to get discouraged though. You know, it might take longer, but at least it's still getting done. This light might be a little overkill, but it is what I had lying around. Now let's take our Glock 21 safety checked. And let's function test this bad boy. I will say one minor annoyance to this is you have to make sure that it's not going up at an angle, that the slide is relatively flat, otherwise you'll have issues. Like so. Let's try that again. I don't know if I'm the only one that's having issues trying to feed this. I know it might have a little tighter tolerances with that paint on it, but I was having these kind of issues feeding it before when it was just all black. So let's try this again. Sometimes it goes in there like butter, other times it gets hung up. Guys, the lesson might be not to mess with it. As soon as I say that. Check that out, guys. I like it.